Hi, I'm Inam Alam, a Prince 2 certified project manager with a master's in project management. From my experience managing multiple projects, one of the biggest challenges I encounter is dealing with resource bottlenecks. Have you ever had a critical project delayed because your top resource was pulled in too many directions? It's like a tug of war. Your resource is stretched thin and something's bound to break. Today, I'll show you how to stop this inefficiency snowball before it pulls your projects down.
In project management, resource capacity planning is essential. It keeps your project staffed and on track, but it's even more crucial in multi-project environments. Capacity planning is about forecasting, aligning, and balancing resources across projects, ensuring the right people are available when needed without burning out. Next, we'll explore the biggest challenges in multi-project environments and why prioritization can make or break your resource plan. The main challenges: competing deadlines, shifting priorities, and limited resources shared across projects. It can feel impossible to keep up.
In my experience, when you're competing with other project managers for the same resources, your advocacy skills can make all the difference. You need to be able to clearly communicate why your project deserves priority, especially when timelines and customer expectations are at stake. Not securing the resource could mean delays, unhappy customers, and even reputational damage for the organization. Let's take a real-world example. Sarah, a project manager in a large matrix organization, is managing a time-sensitive project, but a critical developer on her team has just been assigned to another project. Sarah must now make a compelling case to the resource manager and department head to prioritize her project. She explains that the customer's board is eagerly awaiting the project's successful completion to announce it to shareholders before the end of the fiscal year. If they miss this deadline, it could hurt customer satisfaction and damage the organization's reputation. By highlighting the business impact and focusing on the customer's board level priorities, Sarah successfully secures the resource.
The resource manager balances workloads across teams, ensuring no one is overloaded. But in multi-project settings, this role becomes even more complex. Project managers forecast needs, prioritize tasks, and communicate effectively, working closely with resource managers to keep projects moving smoothly. With multiple projects, each one feels urgent. The key is setting priorities based on project impact and deadlines, which requires teamwork. Using transparency tools lets resource managers see all active and upcoming projects, helping them allocate resources efficiently across the board. To manage resources effectively in a multi-project environment, the Capacity Quadrant offers a strategic approach. This framework is built around 4 essential pillars: visibility, prioritization, integration, and optimization. By focusing on visibility, you ensure that resource demands are clear across all projects. Prioritization helps identify which tasks and projects need attention first. Integration ensures that all parts of the resource plan work together seamlessly, and optimization enables you to use resources as efficiently as possible. Together, these elements provide a strong foundation for managing capacity with precision and balance. Coming up, we'll look at real-world tools you can use to track and coordinate resources across all your projects. Even with great planning, projects don't always go as expected. Ever had a project derailed by a last-minute change? Let's talk about how capacity buffers can protect you from the unexpected. Imagine a project deadline is moved up while resources are already stretched thin. With capacity buffers, we can manage the unexpected without overload. In a multi-project setup, demand management is key. Project managers set realistic goals and allocate resources without burning out the team. In the planning stage, project managers and resource managers often allocate a portion of a resource's time as a capacity buffer. Similar to time buffers in scheduling, this buffer is applied to resources to ensure flexibility. For example, if a team member is available for 40 hours a week, you might only plan tasks for 35 hours, leaving a 5-hour buffer. This accounts for unexpected tasks or delays without overburdening the resource or impacting other projects. Project managers often plan based focused on 80% efficiency, knowing that the remaining 20% might be spent in meetings, admin work, or general distractions. Effective capacity management offers several key benefits. First, it provides flexibility in managing resource availability, preventing bottlenecks that could slow down your project. It reduces the risk of over-allocating your team, minimizing multitasking, which often hampers productivity. Finally, by maintaining a capacity buffer, you can absorb the impact of delays, especially in unpredictable environments, helping you handle variability in work without jeopardizing your project schedule. Aligning team members' skills to the right projects improves productivity and job satisfaction, especially in a multi-project setup. When projects share resources, delays in one can affect another. Tracking dependencies is key to managing these cross-project relationships. In large organizations, software like SAP can be integrated with MS Project, allowing resource managers to run reports on the demand for critical resources. When project managers update their plans with named resources, this data feeds into the system, giving a clear view of resource availability. For smaller teams, where 5 to 10 project managers share resources, you can create a master Excel spreadsheet or MS Project plan to track when resources will be needed. This master schedule provides visibility across all projects, helping prevent conflicts. As Elizabeth Harron recommends in her book, Managing Multiple Projects, having a master schedule is key for resource management. Tracking metrics like utilization rate and availability helps balance resources across multiple projects, guiding reallocation when needed. For project managers, supporting resource planning means daily check-ins, timeline adjustments, and keeping everyone on the same page. Let's look at an example. A high-priority project clashes with a routine one. The project manager helps reassign resources to meet strategic goals. But what if your perfect resource plan still fails? In multi-project environments, it's not just about managing resources, it's about balancing skills, capacity, and constant change. And before we finish, I'll share a case study on how to avoid the risks of resource splitting, something every project manager should know. Let's consider a situation where a critical project competes for resources with a routine project. Initially, resources are split between the two, with each project having a 20% capacity buffer. By sharing resources, both projects are scheduled to be completed in about 6 weeks. Here's the inefficiency. Splitting resources between multiple projects often leads to task switching and increased effort, which can significantly delay progress. In fact, with resource splitting, there's always the risk that both projects will be delayed beyond 6 weeks due to these inefficiencies. Instead, when the critical project truly needs full focus, reallocate 100% of the resources to it. This allows a critical project to finish between day 16 and day 20, much faster than if resources were split. The routine project will pause for 4 weeks, but then receive full resource allocation afterwards. As a result, although project 2 resumes later, it completes by week 7 and a day, a delay of just 1 week and 1 day overall. In many cases, delay a non-critical project rather than splitting resources minimizes inefficiencies and prevents the risk of extended delays for both projects. With strong capacity planning, projects run smoother, teams stay engaged, and there's less last-minute scrambling to meet deadlines. If you had a feeding buffer or project buffer built into your schedule for the routine project, now is the time to use it. You'll know exactly how much buffer you have before the project risks slipping. Now that you've identified a critical resource, update your plan by adding a resource buffer before the task involving that resource. A resource buffer doesn't extend the timeline. It serves as an alert, reminding you when a critical resource will be needed. So this lets you communicate upcoming demand with the resource manager. And remember, don't just rely on software updates. Every time your project plan changes, have a conversation with the resource manager. A direct conversation can make all the difference.
Ever had a project go off the rails because the estimates were way off? You're not alone. Inaccurate estimates are one of the biggest causes of project delays, budget overruns, and frustrated teams. In the next video, I'll show you how to avoid common estimation mistakes and improve accuracy so your projects stay on track.